मादिक जीते सब जग जान लिया, सब जीवों को मोक्ष मार्ग का निष्प्रहो उपदेश दिया। बुद्ध वीर जिन हरिहर ब्रह्मा या उसको स्वाधीन कहो, भक्ति भाव से प्रेरित हो यह जीन उसी को लीन रहे। मैत्री भाव जगत में मेरा सब जीवों पर नित्य रहे, दीन दुखी जीवों पर मेरे उर से करुणा स्रोत बहे। दुर्जन क्रूर कुमार्ग पर क्षोभ नहीं मुझको आवे, साम्य भाव रखूं मैं उन पर ऐसी परिणीति हो जाए। बोलिए आदिनाथ भगवान की जय। This prayer was related to the today's subject, and my today's subject, as you know, and just now Honorable Shamniji has told, it is related to the environment and how this our religion Jainism is related to the ecology, environment, climate, natural aspects. I will describe all these virtues today. I would like to start my talk with a little bit a small video presentation, which is directly related to my today's lecture. So I request to display that video first, and then I will start my talk. You can see a small experiment was conducted on the growth evolution of plants and how this our speech, our emotional, our energy transmitted to the plants becomes so much effective. You can first watch this video. Please start.
Can I share with you
Video.
something really freaking crazy?
Bring it.
We did this little experiment, and all of you watching can do this experiment. We took 3 little petri dishes and we put seeds on this, some cotton bud with water and seeds. Okay, so A, B, and C. In one, it was basically the control group. We didn't do anything different. We just left it by a window. The second one was the negative. My team would look at the seed.
I hate you. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate you. You're a stupid
ugly
little plant. You're an ugly seed. I bet when you sprout, your leaves will be upside down.
Wow.
You'll be tiny. The other plants won't like you. You're a puny little pathetic plant, and I hate you. It's nasty as you can get when you're talking to a plant. Now, the third one, we would just praise it with compliments. You are going to have the most beautiful green leaves. You are going to be so beautiful. You're going to light up a room. I'm so proud of you. You're going to grow so tall and healthy. Okay, now look at the picture. This is the picture. And you can see the control group is mid-size. The one that we insulted, the negative plant, the leaves are literally upside down.
No way.
And it's tiny and short. Now look at the tall one. That's the one that we express gratitude and appreciation to. Anybody can do this. In fact, in some schools, they are using this as an exercise to teach people the horrors of bullying. Because when you see how your words can affect a plant, which is a different species, you understand that your words can affect your body. Your words can affect other people. All of these plants had the same amount of sunlight, the same amount of water. The only thing different was the emotion that was being passed to the plant. If we can influence the biology of plant life, imagine what this can do for human life.
Yes.
It also shows you how negative energy can really mess things up. The next time you think a negative thought about someone, what if, and I don't know if there's any studies on this, but what if, just like you were hurting the plant, you were physically hurting another person?
Wow.
And when you understand that, you start really watching your thoughts.
Okay, you can stop now. Now, through this small video presentation, I wish to say 2 important messages which I would like to keep. The first is, Can you go to next slide? The first message is that how we actually transfer our energy through our thoughts, through our speech, and even the physically also. And that helps either to evolve the plant very positively or directly to the death. So the energy, whether it is positive energy or negative energy, it demonstrated in the video that by speech of hate words, then the actually leaves were down of that tree relative to the controlled data plant that we did not do anything to that. On the other hand, the first one, where we are giving very positive energy, appreciating that plant by several kinds of adjectives, then it grows faster and faster. The second message which he gave is very nice, that similar things happens in our human life also, in our society, and with the other components of the environment. If we will do the negative words, that hate words, hate speeches, etc., criticism, then the man will become anger and he will also use the similar kind of words, or he may do even the physical action. So there is a word, there is a word in English, forbearance. Forbearance actually includes the passions, forgiveness, and the compassion. So what this small experiment suggests, that as a part, disseminating the part of positive energy, we should always use in our life the forbearance, that is forgiveness, compassion, and the other passions, etc. So basically this was the message of the Lord Mahavir, that we all are interdependent. And today's my one question is there, whether really Jainism is a religion of interdependence with the other lives, with the components of the environment, with the biodiversity, with the ecology, etc. So that is what we want to learn today. And what happened in this, he simply gave a one sentence, a small one sentence message, very simple message he gave. And that message he gave is a paraspara upagraho jivanam, simple message which he gave to the all human beings, is that we are actually connected. So what is meaning of this paraspar pugraho jivanam is all lives, 1 to 5 sense, irrespective to senses, are actually the bounded together by our mutual support and interdependence. This is what the simple message he gave. And based on this message, actually, if we expand this, then we will find in the whole universe that this simple concept is the real basis of Jainism. And one, if I expand this further and extend it, then it is nothing but the real meaning which we generally believe, that the ahimsa, non-violence, and anekantvad. So all these things are important. How they are important, how they really, this small one sentence, paraspara groho jivanam, really takes the leading role between the, to protect the whole ecology. That we will see today in my this lecture. The I would like, in the next slide, actually, I would like to say there was a declaration about the Jain Declaration of Nature. There was a very well-known jurist was there, Justice Lakshmi Mal Singhvi, LM Singhvi, very popularly known, and he was also a, I can say, a great Jain scholar, and I have heard him also 2 3 times, and he very obviously told that anyone who, I mean, neglects or disregards the existence of the earth, air, fire, water, I mean, these components of the environment, then he himself actually disregards his own existence by which he's, he has been formed and evolved in this world. If we extend further, then the last time I told that our Jain cosmology recognized the fundamental, actually, the natural phenomena of mutual dependence. And this mutual dependence actually formed the biophysical chemical part of this environment we call ecology. Ecology is nothing but our home. And this home where we actually get nurtured by all each independent component. And similarly, this home is not only for these five senses or only human beings. It is for all kinds of lives, means all lives are interacting with other organisms, with the surrounding systems, with each other, and they grow and they evolve here and they follow the life cycle. In fact, Lakshmimalji Singhvi, he actually extended further, and that is what the science nowadays endorses, that this ecology, this environment is a home not only for this five senses or three senses to five senses, but even for the microbials also, even for the small pudgal, that is micro or nanoparticles. And similar kind of mechanism or principle or philosophy has been accepted in Africa also. When I was there and I was working in few countries of Africa, I found there one principle. It is known as Ubuntu. Means I am here on this earth or in this world because of you. If you are not there, my presence is also not there. That is the same thing as the Parasparo Upgraho Jivana. I would like to, in the next slide, I would like to say about, can you go to the next slide? Life actually exists everywhere in this environment. This is what a basic fundamental thing which was told in our Agams, that is a narration of from the in the Samosharan, whatever Prabhu Mahavir told. And according to him, these five important components, which we call here as Panchabhut Mahatattva, and all these Panchabhut Mahatattva, there's five important major components of environment, that is the cosmosphere, Akash, the heliosphere, that is sun, Agni, geosphere, that is earth, and hydrosphere, oceans, that Jal, water, I mean, and Vayu, atmosphere. Now, what is that? The two important things we should remember. These are the components, but they are also life. This is what is the important thing has been told, that the one sense life is existing in these components. They themselves are a life. Now, these components are nurturing the other lives from one to five senses, and they are allowing to grow those other lives. This is very important point. And in order to protect this five major components, the five woes were actually framed out, and it was given as either Mahavrat for ascetics or for Anuvrat for the this Shravak, that is followers. So five are non-violence, then truthfulness, then non-stealing, and non-possession, and chastity, that is a living brahmacharya. So all these five, why are necessary? If in order to protect these five components. Now, what has happened? Whether are we following this? This slide, next slide actually gives. Next slide gives the what is the properties of one to five sense, and what are their properties related to, say, for example, one sense has only property of touch. What are those? Just like plants, okay, that have only one sense: water, air, earth, as I told just few minutes back. Then two sense, that is worms, snail, leeches. They have a touch as well as a taste. Three senses, they have touch, taste, and smell also. And the ants and lice are there, lychee, that is Jew. And four senses, that is a touch, taste, smell, and vision, sight, just like flies, bees, etc. And the five sense means we all human. We have, in addition to touch, taste, smell, sight, what we have is hearing. That is, we can also listen the sound. Now humans, animals, and birds, etc., all that, they have this kind of five senses. Basically, now I would like to tell you in the next slide. Can you go to next slide, Suri? That Kal Chakra. Now, if you, this slide I had shown in my previous lecture, and what I would like to tell you here is a very important thing. If you see in this, in the first ara, it is clear cut, very dark green, and then it came down to slowly, and now currently in the onset, or in the sometime very close to the fifth ara, or in the mid of the fifth ara, we have come all the way to from green to red. Now the question arises this: in few lakhs of years, I mean, what happened in this 4 to 5 lakhs of years? What happened that we came from this green to the red color? This is an important. Whether we have destroyed our earth, that all forests, or have created this all disasters, we have pandemics. I mean, what are the causes? What is the responsibility? Who are people are responsible for all these questions? This is a very important, question which I am raising. I mean, how it happened and why it happened. So, is it a natural phenomena, first of all, that it will happen in every cycle like this only, and the humans will become extinct or like that? But we know that there was a time on this earth, there were no human, just 65 million years back, only the dinosaurs were there. Now, whether they did something else wrong, so that all questions arise, and I would like to address such questions today. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. You can see in this slide that the total number of disasters only in just few years, that is 1900 to 2019, means 1 to 9 years of time frame. And how it happened that, just a minute, this 119 years, you can see. Can you note down? Please see the slide very carefully, and you will notice that up to 1960 means almost 60 years back or so, by and large, the whole earth was very normal, maybe slightly abnormal relative to some 1,000 years back, but by and large. And I have seen also, when I was child, there were no much earthquakes, no much volcanoes, no tsunamis. In fact, I never heard name of tsunami until I became even 35 years. So, and suddenly after 1960, you can see the number of natural disasters, and these natural disasters are not of the small magnitude. These I have considered of large magnitude in this plot, which, say, for example, on the earthquakes, all on the Richter scale more than 5. I mean, those earthquakes, those volcanoes which have killed hundreds to thousands of people, or the tsunami which has killed large number of people. So integrating all these natural disasters, say for example, even floods also and droughts also. So all these have increased suddenly. And the plot actually mathematically, if I talk, then this exponential growth is there of this natural disaster. So what is the reason? So let us analyze why it happened so. So whether it is due to the population explosion, if you see the population also increased from by and large last 200 years, 1700, but suddenly the exponential growth is last 100 years or so. So by and large, as soon as this explosion in the population took place, that population was keep on increasing significantly, and in the last 50, 60 years, it has gone all of a sudden very fast by and large in many countries. I have given the countries, I mean the John's region's name also. So whether it is population is responsible, so let us please keep in mind population has also increased in last 100 years explosive. Next, what GDP, that gross domestic project, uh, GDP, gross domestic price per capita, which is the GDP is, I think, gross domestic product. Sorry. And because I have calculated mathematically a little bit something new, which you will really appreciate. What I want to say, this gross domestic product is directly proportional to greed. It is directly proportional to possession. It is also directly proportional to passion. Passion includes all the four things, that is rag, desh, krodh, moh, etc. So, but it is inversely proportional to compassion. It is inversely proportional to the passions also. It actually GDP has been given in various kinds of domains on the internet, right, for almost 2000 years. But if you notice in this plot, it increased since last 1900, say 60, 70 years or so, very exponentially, all of a sudden very high. Now, I would like to show how it increased in last 50, 60 years, almost 1920 to 1820 to 2018. But you will see again, even in the up to 1820, it was not so significant, but it became all of a sudden in 1950 onwards, the GDP has gone exponentially again very rapidly. Now, so whether this in, increase in our race to earn more money, to earn not only money, but for the possession of the infrastructure, possession of the money, something happened in the mind of the all over the world, and that race began, and the race actually is the reason that we have to analyze. I would like to show the one factor which I told, the greed index. I think many of you might be observing first time, and the fear index. It is not, I have analyzed for many years, it is just for last 10 years only. And you can see this grid index. Grid index is of course fluctuating on the way, but it is keep on increasing, and it is slowly increasing. And in between, the fear actually is also there. Now, I would like to say thank you to Corona, COVID-19, when actually the fear was very significant in 2020, and it has gone down. And when the whole physical world, when the whole physical world transformed into a spiritual world. And at that time, you can see that the greed came down very significantly during that time. So this greed actually is causing the damage to the environment. This is what we can interpret. I can show you another cause, which is most rather more significant. And here it is, the meat production of by killing the five senses, that is the cow, buffaloes, goats, fishes, many other animals, chickens, etc. And their production, you can see that in China or in USA and many other countries, it is keep on increasing. And can you just underline that this increase is also from 1970 or 1960 onward? See, it is very surprising that these natural disasters, which I showed, they were suddenly, I mean, started increasing exponentially from 1960, and the meat production increased, you see, exponentially from 1960, as well as the grid index also went up very significantly. That is, which has been derived, and you all can actually create your codes, and you can derive this grid index for 100 years or 200 years, and you will find that it is the greed, it is the characteristic that's the greed for the possession, to earn more money, to live, you see, in a very lavish manner, and for the food habits now, which this meat production sees. I was really astonished, dear friends, dear participants, when I actually analyzed since last 4 5 years, and when I came to know that the 92% of the people on this earth, on this planet, are non-vegetarian. So this is a big question. And even in the USA and some other countries, the slaughterhouse or killing the animals is not considered as a something wrong. And this is, I mean, as per the law, it is allowed or something. But this is what in the Jainism says, this is the against the ethics of the nature, against the laws of nature, and that is what I want to say. That Jainism basically, you all might be knowing, it is a religion of ecology. But how I want to say, basically, we were not knowing the Jainism. Nobody knew what is the Jainism, but people realized the ecology. People realized, understood mechanism of ecology, and whatever the rules, regulations, or the science of ecology which was operating over this to maintain, those was understood, and those laws of nature were understood, and those laws were transferred as a philosophy, and that philosophy is Jainism. So I should say, in fact, Jainism is derived from the ecology, and both are complementary to each other. And finally, what I would like to also justify to all of you, that how many Jains are always ready or positive for to minimize the violence or to maintain this environment. Today, I'm not very sure, but definitely I would like to say, relative to all other communities, if you will ask Jains, even on today also, even in the race of this greed, in the race of GDP, in the race of lavish, good quality accommodation, or whatever you say, ornaments, etc. But still, Jains will come down, and you will find they have minimum crimes, they have minimum violence, and they will always try to help the birds, they will try to maintain the environment. So basically, it means what I wish to say, the hinsa that violence actually is doing. And violence is in various kinds of terms. Even when I say greed, that is also a part, because most of the hinsa is done through thoughts. I will come slightly much better on this aspect. So, what is the basically violence? What is violence? That is the definition to be clarified first. There is a canonical text, Purusharth Siddhi Upay, and in that, the in the verse number 43, this has been described very well. Actually, there are 10 kinds of forces are there, which we apply from our body. I would like to show also that. But violence is not killing. Please remember, violence is not just killing. No, actually, even harming or injuring any life, that is from 1 cent to 5 cents. Even the microbes or nanobes also, the we cannot injure them. And in my next few lectures, I think I will come on that point, how harming these microbes, killing the microbes has changed the whole climate. So most of the things are what five, 10 forces are there. Five our senses, okay, that is not five. Then man, vachan, kaya, that is physical body, your voice, speech, and then your thoughts. Eight, then ninth is your what breathing you are doing. Just by breathing, also we are killing millions of the viruses. And as a function of your longevity, that is your ayu, that is your age. So 10 forces at any given point of time, at any given location, they are applied, and we whatever we do, whatever actions we do by these 10 forces is violence if it is under falls under the negative action. If it falls under the positive action, then it is some kind of a eradication of our bad karmas. So what is that? Whenever you have negative kind of thoughts, etc., or negative violence, then you will have the entertainment kind of impure thoughts will come, anger will come. You will have sometimes pride, greed, as I told, or the sex desires. So all those kinds of actions will be there, and they all are the violence part. On the contrary, in the non-violence, you will have equanimity, then the non-attachment, then control of our senses, and basically compassion. I would like to just remind what is the best compassion which was demonstrated on this earth. That was by Bhagwan first Tirthankar Rishabdev, when in his courtyard, his Nilanjana was brought by Saudharma Indra for the festival, and the ceremony was going on, and during the dance, the Nilanjana fell down and she died. But in less than a microsecond, the Saudharma Indra replaced this Nilanjana, and he just made alive another Nilanjana. Nobody in the whole courtyard, lots of kings and other sub kings were there, but nobody noticed except, except Rishabdev. And even in that nanosecond part, he immediately stood up from his chair and he went inside the palace, and then he removed, he started renunciation. That is the compassion which was demonstrated by him. That kind of compassion nowadays we don't see, and but that is the real example of compassion. So until unless compassion is there, you cannot think to follow and practice the codes of our this nature, laws of nature. So whatever I told, that five Mahavrats or Anuvrats, in order to follow them and practice them, you have to have a compassion, which is as an integrated part of forbearance, which I told, along with the forgiveness, truthfulness, etc. So this there are four types of violence which are there. The sankalp hinsa means is intentional, and the basically what we do is many times this intentional violence, which we by thought, oh, I will take, I will see you, how do you fight with me, this thing, that thing, even by the emotions, by feelings, thoughts, etc., by anger and all that, and we decide that okay, I will kill this animal or this man or this thing, or I will do something bad with this woman or society. All these kinds of intentional things are there. While on the contrary to that, which is the most harmful, and that gives bondage to the bad karmas around our soul. While we have this many other kinds of things, the virodhi means somebody is trying to kill us, or I mean, for the self defense, we have to fight. That is allowed in our Jainism. And the second is the graha, arhambi, that is initial. When you start, say, for cooking the food or cleaning or washing the clothes, etc. Those kinds of also, because we are killing thousands of the microbes in that process also. Then industrial or our occupational violence, when we go on the roads also, when we do the agriculture, the construction of buildings, etc. So all those kinds of violence which we incur. So we should, however, try to minimize, but we should never get involved into sankalp, that intentional violence. On the other hand, always violence or non-violence is two types. One is the related to the gist bhav, and another with the matter, the material dravya. And as I told earlier, that 90% of violence, even intentional or the other way, is actually we do by this, our feelings, our thoughts, by our gist, by emotions and all that. Similarly, even the positive also part, that non-violence also we do by mostly by thoughts, etc. and all, but mostly it is done by physical actions also, the non-violence. So non-violence, the positive part is also added in order to reject or nirjara of that, while bad is keep on adding and adding in it. It is integrating on our soul. How it happens, maybe in one lecture, maybe after 3 or 4 lectures, how this karma bandha takes place through the vibrations. I will physics of that I will try to explain, not today in my this lecture. It is not that the ahimsa, that non-violence, talked only by Mahavir. It was talked a long back, dear friends. Even people knew about the ahimsa right from the Rishabdev time. Okay, but whether it was adapted during the Ramayana, whether it was adapted during the Mahabharata, actually, one lady, Draupadi, could stop the whole Mahabharata, but she did not, because she was in pride of her beauty, ego, angerness, etc. And similarly, Duryodhan. So we need not to become Duryodhan for our environment. Actually, we need to become Mahavir to protect our environment. So, are you able to see me? Hello, are you able to see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Your talk is clear.
1 minute, but what happened? Just a minute. So this non-violence I was talking, you are able to hear me and see me also very clearly. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so what happened? You see, the non-violence has been talked long back, but nobody was following in the society. And after the big, you see, damage to the environment, after the Mahabharata, actually 18 books were written, which we call as a parva. And in these two parva, Anushasan Parva and Mahaprasthanika Parva, this verse has been written. I would like to read this in Hindi and tell the just gist of that. It is written, Ahimsa parmo dharmasya tadha ahimsa parmo dhamma. Ahimsa parmo danam ahimsa parmam tapa. Ahimsa parmam yagnasya ahimsa parmam balam. Ahimsa paramam mitram, ahimsa paramam sukham, ahimsa paramam satyam, ahimsa paramam sharuttam. See, so many characteristics, positive aspects of or virtues of non-violence were shown earlier, and these are written during almost 4,000-5,000 years back. Now, this all characteristics, why they were forgotten then? And as a result, when billion of people were killed actually in Mahabharata, and the whole environment was seriously, significantly damaged, we will talk in the some next lecture that how much it was damaged. And as a result, whole Indus Valley civilization was finished afterwards. Then again, the people realized that we should follow the non-violence, etc. So please remember this, whatever the message Mahavira gave, ahimsa parmo dharma, simply which includes all these properties inside, because he wrote dharma. So Ahimsa Parmo Dharma includes all these things. Environmental, what are the issues? What happened at that time? So all the five components which I told, Panchabhut Mahatattva, are currently are they damaged? All five of them. So first today in my this talk, I will say five components basically in the Bharat Kshetra, only relative, only I mean concerned to the solar system, and in solar system, I will restrict to the earth only, and all other components we will talk in other talks. So today, the basically United Nations has concluded that it is the anthropogenic activities by human people, human activities, we have four major degradation or the issues or the challenges and the serious problems. One is climate change, second pollution, third environment, degradation, and the resource depletion. This is most important. Resource depletions are there. That is, resource means water is a resource. Now there is a water problem. No, there is no, I mean, enough water to drink, pure water. Then all our components are polluted. So finally, what we did, I mean, out of these four major topics or major issues, how many real problems are there which human people are facing as on today? First is the climate change. Second is global warming. Third is air pollution. Then deforestation, water pollution. Then non-biodegradable biodegradable waste. Waste is a very serious issue in the whole world, not only in India, all over the world. Then urban expansion. So urban waste is there. Then genetic engineering products. So that is another serious issue. Uh, Increasing population, the soil pollution, waste management, and the 12th number is ozone layer depletion. But you see, if we human want that we should solve the problem. So this ozone layer problem, which was there some 20, 30 years back, now it has been solved. And so the solution also has been brought by the we human people on. So if we want, then we can solve all these 15 issues, just like ozone, which was actually in the space. Biodiversity loss, then over exploitation of the natural resources and health problems. These are the issues. Now, if these are the issues, how I can convince to you, how I will convince to you that our human activities or anthropogenic activities have done. I tell you one very good example of India and Northeast, particularly. Northeast, which is known as Devbhumi, that is the place or home of God. Okay, Uttarakhand. In Uttarakhand, in last 40 years, 40 years, more than 40 natural disasters are there. I have listed here only a few, and those which were more serious, more significant. And example, why it happened? Because in this Uttarakhand, a large number of, I mean, violent activities take place and deforestation took place, wrong management took place. I mean, with the glaciers, there was some kind of activities. And what happened? This is what. Are you able to see the next slide? Hello, Shivji. Can you see the Shiva? Hello, yes. Can you see the Shiva?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes,
yes.
sir,
We can,
yes.
we can
Yes, sir.
definitely see.
Shiva,
Rishikesh,
God
Shivji.
himself is in, what I want to say, God himself is in trouble. Okay. The Devbhumi, God himself is in trouble. And then finally at the bottom part, everything, this is the what happened in 2013. And why I was saying I lost my one colleague who was engineer in my ISRO when I was in job over there in 2013, and he died along with his wife. He went there and lakhs of people, not he, lakhs of people actually had gone for this, what we call as a Char Dharm Parikrama. That is some kind of a pilgrimage around that whole thing. That is, I should tell you very clearly, Gangotri is the one in the south of that Uttarakhand, that side, and from Gangotri to Ganga all the way, and this Kedarnath, Badrinath, and all this. Now you can see that that is multiple continuous cloud burst in one day. Then the dam also was burst because of the minor earthquake. It was not a big earthquake, but the whole dam actually uh, exploded, and the water then started to come. And some people say, government says 10,000 people died, but the other records say that 25,000 people died, because still many people, more than 5,000, they are still not found where they have gone, means they have died almost now 10 years. And now this is not stopped. Out of even this large number of activities took place, even now in the Joshimath, as well as in the nearby towns of Joshimath, all cracks are there. What is really happening? It is whole this town and town, and whole Uttarakhand, that northern part, it is shrinking. Why it is shrinking? Because that water is flowing inside, and it is trying to take the solid part inside in the whole valley now. And why it happened? Because now I tell the what the anthropology activities took place, wrong human activity. You see, it was not planned the development properly. Then there should have not have been any dam near the glacier. And now the glaciers are melting, and they keep on falling directly over there. So the whole management, and why it happened? Because every inch, you see, people talk about the square feet of the land coast, square feet, but there people talk about the square inch, how much land is there in, and it just for the greed to sell that thing. Large number of people now already died, and in Uttarakhand, after every 1 or 2 years, lots of problems. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide. Yes. It is not the story of only the India. This is what actually basically I told, because it is Devbhumi, where the God was residing over there. But similarly, you can see it's happened. These are the NASA images, satellite remote sensing images. In the Alaska, Columbia, the glacier actually is receding very, very rapidly. Now, in just this whole story is only 96 to 2014. So only 18 years. In 18 years, the USA is in trouble. They are not able to control this glacier melting over there. Why it happened? Because same thing, because we are not able to do the proper management. The next is the Brazil crisis over there. And in the Brazil also, the sorry, no, go down. The rainforest which was there in Brazil. Brazil, next slide, next slide, next slide. Yes, the rainforest which was there, and now see the what I had shown the grid. Now the forest, a rainforest is converted into farms as well as colonization and all these things in Brazil. And now Brazil, which was having the gold mines underneath, now they are running for the food even. Don't do like that. I think next slide, but slowly. Can you go slowly up, up? Yes, slightly up. Uh, okay, no, can you go up? Next slide, next slide. Definition. Now what happened to
This one?
not this one. Next slide now. Next, definition of land. Yes. So what is the definition? Why I chose this slide to tell you, the science has come to the same conclusion which Mahavir told, and now they are giving definition to the our young generation that okay, this is the definition of land. What they say definition of land, that definition that land is, I just would like to just a minute, because I cannot read your that version uh, very fast, but Yes, they say the definition of the land as a some kind of a soil, okay, which is in interaction with the air, vegetation, and the air. I mean, all the biota, that is the microbes and water. So means the all those five components which I have been talking of the components, and these five components have already, as I described, have been told in Jainism. But in Jainism, one additional thing has been told, which is still science is not accepting, and that is these five components. They themselves are a single sense life, and they are nurturing the life, and thereby this parasparo upagraho jivanam was derived, which is still, I mean, they say the biophysical chemical reaction. But this is the most important message that which has been given by the Jainism. The another thing, within a given region and within a given material, whatever the transformation takes place, that we call as a paryaya, that is change of the form, and that is what they call by chemical or physical reactions, etc. So until unless we have some kind of a intimacy with our heart to the all components, we cannot actually, that is what I told forbearance, that compassion with our own land, we cannot actually protect the environment. Can you see this forest? It is all the now wood started, all the trees are actually being cut, that is deforestation. And as a result of deforestation, can we go to next slide? Next slide. See, in deforestation, can you see that the plot as a function of the time it has been given? Can you see this plot very well, nicely? Everybody can see in the
Yes, it is.
south.
It is
Yeah,
visible.
there are three different zones have been shown, and in every zone, this different colors are there, and you can see that it is as a function of time. This all all are increasing. Everything. So see, every component is increasing as a function of time, showing that how we are actually damaging our environment. We can see even in the another next slide. Can we go to the next slide? Hello, can we go to next slide? Yes. Here, please keep it down, little bit down. The sun Agni Tattva is there, and as a result of the ultraviolet radiation, etc., and combining those ultraviolet radiation, the waste which is there, and plus the glaciers are already melting, and the waste is actually evaporating. And as a result of heat waves or cold waves, the birds and other life, they are disturbed. We will see in my next few lectures how they are more and more they are disturbed, what are the physical and biological mechanisms are there. But by and large, you can see all components are disturbed. Why? Because we are doing deforestation. Those 15 issues which I told, those 15 issues are most important, by which we are damaging the whole our environment. And as a result of that, our health is in problem. Health, you see, the air pollution is there, so asthmas are there. Even the air pollution and other food problem, the heart attacks, blood pressure, and greed factor, which I told in the beginning, that GDP is increasing, but at what cost? At the cost of the rhythm of the health. And that's why we are having the diabetic, blood pressure, and many other tensions, which and as a why tensions are there and what is the result, that I also will talk in next one or two lectures. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, this is the death rate by air pollution. You can see that how much it is very significant in some countries, and in some it is less also. Of course, in US it is less, but in other countries it is very high. Next slide. Okay, this is no, this is the what I wanted to tell India's story, because India is highly polluted, whether it is water, it is air, or it is soil. And as a function of this different things, if you see, in different parts, that is in different states of India, everywhere, these are the significant uh, degradation, and these are those significant states where this kind of pollution is there, and the death rate in these states because of this pollution is very, very high. You all might have heard about Delhi, the air pollution, as well as in Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, this soil pollution, that because of the not only deforestation, but not only deforestation causes the land, that soil pollution or the soil disturbed, but you see, there are many other things. And I would like to underline to all of you that, for example, in Kanpur, this chemical waste from the industries, it is not only going into the Ganga, but on the land also. And finally, it is every mixed up in many parts of Uttar Pradesh, and the soil is destroyed. Similarly, in Maharashtra also, soil is destroyed. So soil destroying the soil, or what you can say, soil pollution, water pollution, and air pollution are very, very significant in India. Not only because this population is growing up, but there are many other causes of us. This is a very interesting slide. Can you go little up? Little up, yes. Very interesting slide, because go up little bit up. Yes, yes, yes. See, this shows that various kinds of species and their percentage which are endangered, they are expecting that they will be killed. The percentage is written. Why? Because of the various these pollutions which I told, the water pollution or air pollution or the soil pollution, etc., and how this extinction took place in the past when the percentage was keep on increasing. I request to all of you to take a note of this. See, these are the very, very different kind of small species to the very five senses, like elephant, mammals are also there, but they all kinds of species are in danger. They all are in some kind of a fear now, and you will you can do some experiments in your country, and or by taking the observations, etc., and you will find you can improve this picture also by doing the experiments, that really our environment is polluted and we are facing serious issues. Now the time is too short. I would like to say this important slide, that as a consequence of this pollution, that entering into the oceans, and air pollution, how much it is, 20% entering into the oceans, and this farm, the most, which is the waste of that, that is also more than 20%. Similarly, all kinds of that I should say templation, because it is so small for me. Let me go back to my thing also, so I can. Just a minute, please give me 1 minute time. Yes, so air pollution is about 20%, farm is about 20%, then sewage is about 30%, which is very, very high. Similarly, industrial waste is 10%, and oils and other offshoot oil 10, 20%. So, I mean, basically what I wish to say is all this now entering into the oceans. If it is entering into the ocean, you can believe that what will happen all this to the, I mean, species which are in the ocean. Means they are dying mostly not only by the farmed fishes which the people are killing for the food, etc., but by this pouring inside this all pollutions in the oceans, the many kinds of microbes to the even big fishes, they are being killed. So basically, we are losing our ocean, the property. And what we have done? We have done two things. See, I want to tell you the carbon dioxide, which could be managed by the big fishes, okay, and that we are killing them. just don't go, don't rush, don't rush. I have not even completed. Please stop. Yes. So big fishes could actually, this Kyoto, when protocol was there, it was decided that, okay, we will go to protect the oceans. We will grow more number of trees, because trees also can absorb carbon dioxide, and also this big fishes like whales fishes, they can also absorb and they can dump carbon dioxide at the beneath, at the surface of the sea, almost 7 to 10 kilometers inside. And that is why this, for 200 years one fish can drop over there, because the life of the whale fish is 200 to 500 years. But now we are killing by all such kind of pollutants. And so what is happening, that we have industrialized air as well as oceans, both by aviation, the air atmosphere, and by these pollutants and killing these fishes, all this, the oceans. That's what I want to say. Next slide. Now we can go to the next slide. Suril, can we go to the next slide? Yes, thank you. See, many aircrafts, they are also launching, releasing the carbon dioxide, and not 1 ton or 10 ton or 100 ton, millions of tons every day and every hour, millions of tons of carbon dioxide by the passenger as well as commercial flights. And not only that, please, I would like to suggest all of you now, or to note down, that recently papers have been published, not only carbon dioxide, but also the dangerous particles like strontium, the other natural disaster kind of particles, barium, and which are the radioactive kind of particles, and they all are danger for the children, for the women who are pregnant women. And so I don't know what we want to do. So as a function of greed, actually, we will try to analyze in future, in a 1 year time frame, that this kind of activities, as a function of the grid index, how much we have destroyed the various components of our environment. Okay, so what I have done, along with my student, yes, we can go to the next slide. And this is very important study. My one student from the ISRO, Kronal Patel, now he has completed his thesis work. He's writing his thesis, and maybe in next semester he will get the degree also. What we undertook, the study of oceans around Gujarat, and particularly the 5 areas, Kembe of Khambat ki Khadi, and Kutch area, Saurashtra area, etc. And what we did, analyze the sea surface temperature, and we found that this carbon dioxide, which is emitted in the atmosphere, it is increasing the sea surface temperature. And now you can see it is directly proportional, with almost correlation coefficient in mathematically, what we call, say, Poisson ratio, that 0.8 out of 1, so means 85% correlation coefficient. And this says that because of the increase in sea surface temperature, all oceans, not only this Arabian Ocean, but the other oceans are also expanding. And we talked to the other researchers, investigators over the globe, and they also told, yes, oceans are expanding, which is a big problem, because the land area will be reduced. So this is very important discovery by, and this paper is published also recently in last year. Next slide. So the sea surface temperature and the sea level is increasing. It is directly has been shown. And this happened. See, everything happened since 1960. So it appears that since 1960, although the industrial era started 1750, but it appears to me that 1950 onwards, something happened, the race among the people, to become the greed, or to become the rich people, or to get the name in the first 20 or 100 rich people in the world, etc. But now see the effect. The sea surface level also has gone up, and along with the sea surface temperature. Next slide. Next slide is a very dangerous part. Please stop. See, mining. So we killed, you see, creatures on the surface. We, destroyed the forests also. We killed the microbes, creatures in the air also. So we made the air polluted, we made the water also polluted, we made the soil also polluted. But inside through the mining and all over the world, this is the story of, South America, US also, North America, everywhere, the mining has become a serious challenge for the survival of the humanity, for the survival of another creatures. And we are not only killing, and this has been already demonstrated by the science also, that there are lives inside, which was spoken long back by Bhagwan Mahavir, that life is underneath of the surface, terrestrial surface. Up to 30 kilometers, 50 kilometers, life is existing. But the mining, we see the gold, coal, and all other products. We have become so much greedy to extract out from the below the earth. So next slide. So this, you can see that now that the soil pollution is everywhere over the globe because of this. So soil degradation has taken place not only in India largely. Of course, I agree. It is largely the whole India is now soil degradation is there. Soil pollution has taken place, but by and large in many countries, except the northern hemisphere, which is basically actually it is not possible because of the hazardous condition. Otherwise, man would have killed that northern hemisphere also. Next slide. And you can see in this curve now, please show this curve very, because this curve, please go down little bit down. Okay, thank you. See, this is the one on one side. It is increasing our environment. Just a minute. 1 minute. You can see the PPT, right? Am I right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
please note down the two important things. One is the human population, that is the blue color in the plot. Okay. And then the curve of extinction. Now there was a very good difference between these two curves. Okay. But now the time has come. They are approaching close and close. And that is why I have written doom is very close now. Is it will be because of such kind of conditions? The 21st century itself will be a doom century, or the next century. But can we not do something to save our planet? You can analyze. You all have, I hope, might have understood that if the man wants, then we can do everything, make it possible to save our planet. You can see that we have destroyed all components, and now society is in trouble. And for many years to, the next, to protect the environment, it will take time. If we are finished, then I don't know. The science says that for the next, if human civilization is finished, then for millions of years, perhaps no man will again take the birth over there. So finally, the scientists who also actually came to the conclusion that they were giving warning. Since last several years, I have been working with many, as a climate scientist, I have been working, and so they were requesting to the whole world, and they were warning also that, see, environment is in trouble, various components are in trouble. But finally, now United Nations came to a conclusion. Okay, we agree, we all are interconnected. And that is where I started, whether Jainism is a religion of being interconnected or interdependence. So this, the whole basic formula, the where I started, the Paraspara Upagraho Jivana is the final solution. If people wants to accept this, then only this concept and this thing of Jainism need to be accepted by everyone. Uh, they need not to become Jain. I don't want to motivate that to people to become Jain, but ethically, principally, they should follow the principles and ethics codes of this. So you all are my ambassadors. I humbly and sincerely request to all of you that to convey my this message. I again repeat, you all are my ambassadors, all participants, whatever the numbers, and please, with my folding hands, Namaste, Jai Jinendra, I request to all of you to convey my this message to all over the globe. Even any one of you will convey to 10 people and request them, those 10 people, to then another 10 people, every each one, it will become, you see, this even 20, 30 people who are attending this my seminar, it will finally, in 1 year, it will become almost more than 100,000 people. Thank you very much for this and giving me opportunity to talk to all of you. But only again that we are really at the juncture, at the critical point, as I showed in my this earlier slide, that the doom is very close. So I sincerely request to all of you to follow this Florida International University, whatever this lectures are planned under the scientific foundation of non-violence, ahimsa, uh, we should also at the same time carry this message, convey this message to the larger community to take care of the earth, our planet. Thank you very much. Any questions I can address?
So thank you very much, Professor Rajmal Jain, for giving excellent talk and showing all the scientific data or studies that how violence or unnecessary violence which human beings have created because of their greed or to live a lavish life, or they are creating some pollutants in the natural resources or exploiting the natural resources. And because of that, what kind of environmental degradation and all other pollutions are being created. So I think everybody could come to know that what kind of changes are coming in the ecology and also in the environment due to our unnecessary violences. So
I have
if
sent
somebody
a
has,
very,
if
I
some,
have
yes,
sent today one very small PDF document also
yes, I
related
have,
to the today's talk.
yes, I have uploaded it on the module so everybody can see from there. If somebody has any question regarding the topic of today, they can ask the question, and there are certain questions in the chat. Professor Najmal Jain, if you can take from chat also.
From chat, perhaps I may not be able to take because
Okay,
the
okay,
fonts are
okay.
very small and my eyes are not that
Okay,
good.
okay. So I can read out for you.
But you can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, please read, please read.
Okay, okay. So I am reading for out for you. So householder are allowed to do Aram Bahinsa. Without this, the what we say, the household life cannot can be very difficult. So what is your answer to that?
Yes, actually, it's for what we call followers, that Shravak. Okay, Aram Ahimsa is allowed. That is why we call as a Anuvrat part, not Mahavrat. But the ascetics, saints, monks are not allowed to even do that also. So now some violence, that is scale. If I take a scale of that, okay, can you see this, my palms? So how you can minimize this violence on the say percent 1 to 100. So Arambha Ahimsa, if you can minimize even in the Arambha Ahimsa, that is the domestic violence, that itself is great. But that whatever you do, that violence, that is also added, integrated on your soul. Karma bandh will, of course, will be there. So we should always remember that some bondage will be there, even related to that, and we have to do some eradication process, nirjara, for that also. So please remember, any kind of action Hinsa is hinsa, violence is violence. Okay.
So it is good answer. Now the next Suresh Kumar ji has asked about Joshimath sinking. Joshimath sinking. So would you
Yes.
like to say something? Joshimath is such a nice town. Was there for a few days in 2019.
No, well, this is a good question because I myself have visited many times Uttarakhand because of the Aryabhatta Research Institute, where I was an important component for observations, and even I went to Badrinath also, and many other places. So I have seen this on the way, Joshimath, many times. But honestly, if I want to address, I was aware of this event even some 5 years back. And why? Because I had already some made mind that, see, this town is not planned very well. And everybody is trying to use the land from here and there. And you know the water channels which are coming from the mountain, water channel, srot, jo bolte hain, water that is jharna, which is coming from the waterfall, which is waterfall basically from the mount. So people tried to close that to make their house or divert its direction and all that. So water was going irregularly below their houses in the town. And you see the whole Joshimath as well as the other small towns, they are in the valleys. And valleys, you see, will have response to glacier, not to their management. It has to do the natural management response to the glacier melting. Now we have done on the top side the glacier also not properly managed because we made the dam, etc., and for electricity generation, lot of other projects are coming. And on the other hand, the house construction. So both sides the management was not proper, and as a result now you can, and I showed, you see, intentionally I showed today, okay, I told Devbhumi, but why I showed in last 24 years, more than 40, you see, casualties took place. So natural disaster. Floods were there, droughts were also there, and earthquakes every year. You see, big earthquake comes, of course, because of the Himalaya, etc. But I, I think see, government now has to plan some very significant good plan of management of this new settlement of the village. At the same place, nothing can be done immediately until unless they shift all the people to other safe place.
Okay, so the next question is, how should we understand the increase in population with respect to Jainism? Because at any point, the number of jivas are going to be the same in the universe. Please help me understand this, sir.
Yes, he or she who has asked question, I don't know who has asked this question.
Okay, it's in Dharmashri. Dharmashri.
Dharmashri, very good question. Yes,
Okay.
total number of total number of souls is always same and same. Okay, but that is same and same in the universe, in the whole cosmos, not just in the earth alone you can take. Correct?
Yes.
This total number of lives in the whole cosmos is same. It is number n, and number n remains same and same in the upper loka to the middle loka to the adholoka, that is lower cosmos. So that, but if you now come to the middle loka, okay, middle universe, and in that only you come to one Jambudvip, and inside that Jambudvip you are coming to only one part Bharat Kshetra, and in Bharat Kshetra you are taking on one solar system, and that is only one planet Earth. So that is not the thing. So that should be controlled. That is what physics, I mean, physics wise, mathematics wise, I am giving an answer to this. So it cannot go unlimitedly, increasing exponentially very high. Exponentially, when I say Mataji means mathematically something like this. Okay, and that is
Yes.
what the population was going like this. Then I showed this GDP was going like this. Okay, and the meat production was also going exponentially high. So
So next question is raised by Bindi, might be from UK. So what causes or influences the pressure, density, and temperature changes as per your last lecture?
oh yes, the two forces which I told, dharmastikai and adharmastikai, the two forces are basically the dependent on this pressure, density, and temperature. Pressure, if she knows a little bit physics, I mean maybe eighth, ninth standard, pressure
Yeah.
is force per unit area. Okay, force per unit area, that is the pressure. Means it includes the force now. Area हम लोग what we call as a क्षेत्र region. Okay, for a given location, that is the area. So force, now density is the matter density, that is the some kind of a mass, and this density is a part of that force, because force has m into a, mass into acceleration. Okay? So density is very important in that. And temperature, so temperature is continuously changing all over the universe in different regions. So now from Jenny's point of view, I can say all these three quantities are changing as a function of matter, dravya, region, kshetra, as a function of time, kal, and of course, science does not believe, but the thoughts, that is the waves. And I showed today how the waves, in the beginning, one video I showed, how the waves actually influence the life. So all these things, now these two forces, when they interact at any given point, then this interaction limits our the boundaries finally where this material is ending up. So that is why, do you remember I showed also, and I told one very surprising thing which Bhagwan Mahavir told. There are three layers at the boundary of the universe. I showed that slide also. Three
Yes.
layers. That is a particle with water vapor mixed up with that. Then another is the slightly less dense, and then the plasma, that is thinness only, very thin plasma kind of thing. So that is some kind of a real answer, that yes, these two forces are interacting, and these two forces, what are the realities, what are the entities through which the whole game of the universe finiteness is defined, that is by these three quantities: pressure, temperature, and density. Maybe sometime, if she has done 12th in science, can I know that?
Bindi, Bindi,
Hello.
yes, you can.
Hello.
Yeah, you can speak.
Yes, I have studied science as well at school, so I do understand about force,
Okay.
temperature,
Okay.
and pressure. So, are you trying to say that it's mainly the dharmastikai and adharmastikai coming into action, causing all these forces, or they are the forces themselves?
No, they are the forces, and they are ingredient of these forces. Ingredients, let us say, that is, I think, maybe correct word, is pressure, temperature, and density.
So everything is dependent on these three things. That's the fundamental thing.
Yeah, yes, these three things are there. They are major realities, major quantities. So I told this, but there are many other things. Say, for example, the velocity, which may cause the acceleration. I don't know whether you heard shock waves. So basically, this finiteness finally at the end is because of the shock is finished. And, and what is the shock? I can tell you, if you can see my these fingers over here, between this much gap, the temperature here is T1 and here is T2. Okay. but T1 and T2 are not very significantly, T2 is not larger, but suddenly at a different place, T2 goes 100 times than this T1, but for the same, I mean, width or thickness of the layer, then a shock produces. So
Okay.
T capital means temperature, dt by dx, x is I'm keeping the same, but temperature has gone suddenly 1,000 times more. All of a sudden, there are many reasons, okay? So similarly, density may change also. So then the velocity will take the, I mean, control commanding. There are many things, okay? But these are the basic realities which take part in the varying the size time of this. And when we take a larger volume, say the upper cosmos. So upper cosmos basically is, as per science, it is an imagination when we consider the total density of the whole middle universe as a one. That is what we call as a critical density. So when we enhance, when we increase the critical density more than one, okay, let us say any density is critical density, and when we enhance 10 times or 100 times, then the whole structure will close down. So close down means close down itself. You see, that itself endorses the Jainism, that it endorses that close down means higher density. When the density is very high, then you cannot go inside. Am I right? You cannot enter inside when the density is very high. So there are no human in the upper cosmos, only aeronautical, that is high accelerating system or whatever demigods, or those can only exist over there, or the, I mean, pure soul, which have to do nothing, they can exist. But at the level where the critical density is a suitable, I should say, suitable is the critical density, and that is in the middle loka, but that is also only look up to the 2.5 continent, which I told last time, Jambudvip, okay? Excuse me. Ghatki Khand, okay? And the next one half, etc. Now, why? So that is what I'm saying, because even in the middle cosmos, as a function of the spread distance, spread means in the diameter, okay, as a function of the diameter, it is again density, pressure, and temperature are changing, which are not suitable outside for survival. And similarly, you can go in the elevation. So in elevation, that is, I told especially on that day, that whole thing is distributed in Jambudvip. The suitable thing is only in the latitude form. So latitude distribution of that 7 different zones are there. And,
Okay,
but
thank
only
you.
in between Mahavideh or Videh Kshetra, that is the most suitable. Always the conditions of density, pressure, temperature, they remain homogeneous. And homogeneous conditions are always more suitable. See, on the earth also, when too much cold is there, that is cold wave is also not good. Too much hot, then hot waves, heat waves also are not good. And the people die, you know that many animals die as a consequence of heat waves as well as cold waves. So, but still it is suitable for the human being, this 2.5 continent.
So now, Tarangaji, would you like to ask anything?
Yes, ma'am. Jai Jining to all of you. I want to connect my question with the previous question sir was explaining. Sir, first of all, I want to say you have a lot of knowledge and really want to discuss a lot of things with you, and I want to gain a lot of knowledge from you. So as you have talked about the density, which is, we have considered one at the Madhya Lok, and we are saying that it is greater than one at Udhav Lok, and we are saying it is less than one at the Adho Lok. And we are saying it is positive curvature, it is giving positive curvature and negative curvature. Can you explain this positive curvature and negative curvature?
Oh, yes. Can you see this this spot? Can you see this spot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you see this bottom part? It is full of water, so I cannot make it up down. But this is the what the whole density when is more than one, then it will look like this. But when it is less than one, then it has to open from the other end side. You know, when I say less than one, means the density is much slowly, it is going down and down and down. So wherever the density is the lowest one, where it is lowest one, then it will remain open. Okay, because the material has to go from upside to downside. Whenever you see that even the water or any thick thing, when the slope is there, that is density is decreasing, so everything will flow towards the lower density side. Okay, that is the rule of physics. So that part is open. Now I would like to give one example why it is true also, that if you see the model of lower cosmos, Adholoka, and you see that 7 different zones, that what we call as a hills. And I showed in that slide that from top to bottom, the density is decreasing and more dark gas is there. Okay. Mahatam, Madhav means surrounding, hello. And hello is becoming darker and darker. So means the lower side is more and more open side, and upper side is a high density where still some illumination was there. So if I draw a graph plot of illumination as a function of the depth in the hell, then you will see density will go down, and even the intensity, that brightness also will go down. So it will match. Okay.
When you say for greater than one, it is closed, and for less than one, it is open. And you are saying that human can't be the.
No, when less than one is it is open. Greater than one, it is closed.
Fine. But for greater than one, it is closed and human can't be there. So for less than one, it is open and human can be there. Is it possible for human to be there if density is less than one?
You see, in the top floors, the top hellish parts, only it is there. I mean, as you go down and down, it is by and large only what has been given description is about the halo structure or the what kind of environment will be there. I have not come across that humans are all the way up to the down or not, or they are being punished or whatever. It is written in the canonical texts. But you see, I give one example to you. One good example which science has discovered. When I was doing work on analysis on the, the material sample which was brought from the Antarctica, okay, from Maitri station. And when we were analyzing in our PRL also, and even I was involved with the Russia also, where the sample was brought. So finally, by doing all analysis and then going, what we can do is that we can extend that depth, how much kilometer we can. We found that even up to 30 or 50 kilometers down to the earth, where there is no oxygen, please listen my words, no oxygen, and temperature minus 400 degree. Temperature in minus 400 degree, no oxygen, but still you see the creatures, that life symptoms were there, and they were surviving, they were enjoying down in that environment. So in every environment, some life is always there. When this life can exist in space, in air, in, of course, in water and all that, but why inside? So density is going down, but shooting, so only those kind of lives can survive, which is shooting to that density. Did you get my answer? they will be there in the.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Vijay Shah, would you like to ask anything?
Yes, Jai Jinendra.
Jai
Uh,
Jinendra.
Professor, I wanted to come back to your Kal Chakra.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
yes, we know that the Tirthankars only arrive in the fourth ara, Dusham Susham,
Yes.
which is very interesting. And is that also scientific in relation to science with the origin of life, with the dinosaurs and so on? That human beings were not existing like in the Susham Susham when everything was great and fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I showed that climate cycle of the science side and the Kal Chakra comparison on the when I flattened the whole graph. So
Right, right.
for, I mean, I have a temperature data of more than 1 million year, but showed only for 8 lakhs year, and particularly I showed that 4 lakhs of year when the human actually brain, because we studied the fossil of Lucy, which actually born in 5.5 million year, but there was no mind. Okay, and mind started as per the science because of the temperature gradient. What this British girl was asking question that dt by dt over here as a function of time. Okay, so that raised from zero point 0.4 to 1. Then only the mind started,
Right.
and I hope many of you might have heard about one paper published long back in Nature, that this size of this our forehead is directly proportional to the talent, and that actually grew up and that endorsed that the really human being got the talent, and that I tried to relate with the 10th 10th icon of Mahabal of Rishabdev, about 4 lakhs of years, the first generation of talent. But it does not mean that it was not before or maybe little after, etc. But by and large, all the events, I mean, events of the religion time scale with the science time scale, they match with each other. I showed you the Paleolithic time, Neolithic time, and they are matching. Just like, for example, the in the fourth era, you know, the first scientist of agriculture, Asimasi Krashi, particularly agriculture, was the Rishabdev, right? And this
Yes.
Rishabdev events, when you compare with the Neolithic previous Neolithic period, when the agriculture was supposed to start at that time, because nothing was now there to eat the food. So
Right.
he started that time, and that matches all the events. Not only that, even the domestication of animals, that also matches that time with this thing.
Yes.
So,
So it's
yes.
interesting how all the Tirthankars are compressed into one era, only in that fourth era.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah. That
And
is
none are
also,
in the fifth era. Is that a
you are
question we
right.
can ask, or why not? Just curiosity.
No. This question in your mind is the question in my mind, but I can address little bit that the fourth era, that is fourth eon, okay, was the time when the crisis starts.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
we should say we can conjecture a model that earlier also some good people might have born also, but the conditions were very good at that time. And when the conditions started little going, I mean, worsen and worsen, and then some holy man like Rishabdev, okay, he
Appears.
he
Right.
took the initiative at that time. He took the initiative. Basically, I would like to use the word. He was the only person who really took the initiative to teach not only these six important things, but you know that it is written in Kalpa Sutra, 72 arts he taught to the man and 64 to the woman also. And still, I mean, we are using by and large those only, of course, modernized or whatever here and there. But now we are creating problems to the environment and to our earth. But this question, starting from that fourth, everything finished in fourth. Okay, all the 24 Tirthankars.
All right.
Okay.
So
And finally, Mahavir told that after so 3.5 years and blah blah this many months, uh, fifth era will start, and now it has really started. Yes, I'm sorry to stop you in between. What is your question?
no, that's fine. No, coming back with your earlier slide about the critical mass of the number of people, when we reach that, we'll create destruction of the planet. Now, in the fifth era, we know that will go on for 21,000 years. So it could still be a long time before that actually occurs.
That occurs. I think you're actually as a scientist now, not as a philosopher. I will not address your question, but as a component of science, because we are already now so many protocol meetings are taking place. Now people are crying to the United Nations, to the all, I mean, top people of the every country, that president or prime minister, whoever. I think maybe in this century itself, uh, we will people scientists will suggest come out with some solution, and solutions are already there, have been suggested since last 20-30 years, but nobody, because of the greed and other politics votes or whatever you say, nobody wants to follow and take the measures, appropriate measures. But I hope now, just like a ozone problem was there, now they will take the problem consider seriously, and I hope we will be able to save the planet.
Thank you. I'll give the time back to someone else.
Thank you for answering. Taranjan has some question again, or you have asked.
Yes, ma'am. Though I have many questions, but I will decide with one only.
Okay.
Today you have talked about greed index and fear index, and you have told that greed index is increasing, but I am not clear about the fear index. That was not clear to me whether it is increasing or decreasing. So can you clear a little bit about that?
Madam, I think I did not hear your question very properly. What is your question? I think you asked something, greed and fear index.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In case of the graph you have shown, the greed index is increasing.
Yeah.
What is the scenario for fear index?
Oh, fearing, just like, can I make a joke, Mataji? Can I make a joke?
You can.
Do you know the Adani shares have gone down? That is the
Yeah.
fear, you see, among many people, and many have died also. That is the fear index. Okay. So whenever this up and down things happen, this is one example as a joke. Don't take it politically, but this is fear really. And similarly, you can now extrapolate to the industries. Now industry has increased the production, but all of a sudden, due to some pandemic or some other kind of calamities, the production, the sale is stopped. So there will be fear in his mind that he did so many, he has invested so much big money, but now the sale has stopped, so he may be in loss, etc. And many times it has happened. And in every year, if you integrate all over the world for all different, I mean, industries and many sectors, etc. I give you another example that large number of marriages were planned in 2020. Okay, in 2020, and this canteen people and hotel management people and what you can say, supply people and all, they made a big plan.
Professor Rajmal Jain, please mute yourself. Mute yourself. Unmute. Yeah. Sorry.
It happened, I don't know.
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Say-
Now we are hearing. Just for a few seconds, it was muted.
Okay. So there were a lot of arrangements were done by the small or medium kind of industrial or entrepreneurs. Okay, like a band baja and horse and this canteen people, hotel management people, all lots of, but all of a sudden in 2020 March, you know that all over the world, this uh, COVID-19, the coronavirus came as a pandemic, and many people went to the big loss, particularly textile people. They went to loss, and many people committed suicide also, because it continued for almost more than a year, right from 2020 to almost full complete 21, 2 years time. So this is fear. What, what will happen? What will happen to my family? How my children will survive, and this and that. So that is a fear index. Okay. I don't know I'm clear to you or not. And greed is to earn more and more that out of that investment. Some people made 100 times money also during the coronavirus. Those who were selling the tobacco and the wine and all those things.
So now the question from Vijay Sancheti, how you relate definition of land and Mahavira's principles? Please explain. How you relate definition of land and Mahavira's principles?
Yes, I gave a definition of land. The land which is defined now by science people is related to the land related to the near surface air, near surface water, okay, like that. And those, even the biotic means small microbes, etc., surface and above the surface. And I think there were something more also, biota, and I believe something, another organisms. So now how you can differentiate this from the Jainism definition? The Jainism also says for the definition of the not only soil, but they are integrated definition. They are interconnected, interdependent on each other. Whether the soil is not dependent on water, soil is not dependent on air, soil is not dependent on microbes also. So it is same thing was told by Mahavir also. If you read this our canonical texts, Purusharth Siddhi Upaya, but Jeev Kand, another Gomatsar, and even what is that Dhavla and Jai Dhavla particularly, yes. You see, I tell you one, sir, very good, Vijayji. I would like to give you one very good example. My first video which I showed today. Do you know that the plant is only one sense, only touch, right? Everybody agrees? Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Yes, sir.
then yes, but then how it happened? How it happened that positive energy transferred? Hello.
Hello.
Okay. You have to unmute some people who are making voice from background. They are not taking care of. That's why I have to mute. You can unmute yourself. Professor Rajmaljan, you can unmute yourself, okay? Professor Rajmaljan, are you unmuting yourself?
Yes,
Yes.
I have unmuted.
Yeah, because some people are making noise from background. That's why it is muted in between.
Okay, very interesting example. Vijay, please listen me. That the plant, you see, vanaspati, trees, everything has only one sense, touch. But I told today that transferring of energy, positive or negative, through the speech or by mantra or whatever we speak within the, 1 meter distance to those trees, how it influenced, to the tree. You should ask this question, because there is a big science of Jainism. Because the prana is not only important, paryapti is important, and paryapti is making that difference. So any life when evolves from any yoni, yoni means the place of birth, not the species. Okay, please underline. Many people do mistake. They understand 84 lakh, 84 lakhs species honge. It is 84 lakhs place of birth are there. So in that, it evolves with it's according to the karmic body, the ability and capability, eligibility, that will give its evolution, the growth. Now, not visible, it has only touch, but it has a property to understand, to hear. There were earlier experiments also were there. I have that videos somewhere in my library of laptop, but it is in Pune. I'm here currently in Ahmedabad. So see this kind of things. I mean, every sense has that kind of a paryapti. So paryapti is another characteristic, and science has not understood this part. But philosophical experiment when succeeds, then science now definitely will unveil what is the real secret. Now, this is the only with the sound waves. Please, I would like everybody to underline sound waves means 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz acoustic from my mouth. But what will happen? The power of infrasonic waves, which we don't speak, but rather they go from our mind because they are much more highly powerful. Their frequency is smaller, but the wavelength is very, very long. It goes from this sol point, Atma Pradesh, to the space point, Akash Pradesh, and returns back with the karmas, whatever particles, interaction, and according to our actions. You know that infrasonic, what do I mean by? I can tell you a philosophy subject point of view. You know that we give baddua, that curse, hi, all those things, or we give blessings without speaking, mon, but we are telling something. So those cursing, criticizing, or giving blessings, gracing, all those things, they are infrasonic words, infrasonic language, which has much, much more power. So you can imagine where in the slaughterhouse, when the animals are actually killed, cut through the machines, etc. In the beginning, they cry with a speech that is the 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, but later at the last part, whatever they give is the criticism or the, I mean, Baddua, I told her hi through the infrasonic. And that is the what finally takes place as a result on our soul. So basically, eligibility, capability during this evolution process depend on your karmas also. That's why I told all these things related to the environment also. Thank you for asking this question. I brought a little, I'm sorry to
Okay,
take long time.
It is good to go into detail of all the aspects to answer so that things can be more clear to the question, to the person who is asking something. Okay, so just a last question we are taking here. What could be the reason for greed, passion, and possession to increase? Here could be related to evolution. So the question is not very rightly, what to say, phrased. Chandani Shah, would you like to ask directly?
Yes, why has this greed, passion, and possession sort of slowly increased? What could have changed in the human beings for it to arise? I mean, could it be evolution, or could it be the digital? I mean, there was industrial revolution, so could it be the digital revolution? What is causing this greed and passion to arise from 1960 onwards? What has changed so much?
Yeah. 1960 onwards, the modern industrial revolution started. The science and technology was so much advanced after the Second World War that they started to make the life of the people simpler, and the science and technology started to reach, entering into the house, and they tried to make the life easier, earn also easier, faster, and at that actually easier thing, they wanted to earn more and more in a short time. That is what is index greed. Okay. And this science and technology industrial revolution actually changed the life of the people, of the living life conditions, living style, lifestyle, food style also, and then earning more and more. And you can see in the last 60 years, the real society and societal values have changed. If that is, and why societal values have changed, that is because of the increased passion and greed. So basically, the cause is industrial revolution, I should say, and industrial revolution demolished, damaged the whole environment.
Okay. Thank
Okay, so with this, I would like to thank to Professor Rajmal Jain for giving so much informations and scientific evidence how violence is causing so much damage to nature, environment, and also causing many natural calamities, problems, and issues in our life. So very much, I would say that you will cover many other things in your next lectures. But for today, you have taken so much. I think I have taken so much time just to complete this talk. But you have many more things to say about all these environmental and ecological issues in your next talks. So thank you for giving so much informative, very scientific, and very, what we say, knowledgeable talk today on the topic of environment and how the earthly, these 5 natural resources are very important in our life. If we overlook the existence of these natural resources, it means we are overlooking our own existence. So that is the great message which has been given in Acharan Sutra by Bhagwan Mahavir in this in the verse if you are neglecting the life of other people and other living beings, you are neglecting your own life. So
but
this is
I humbly
this
request,
is the interdependence. Yes.
I told you all are my ambassador. Don't consider with the number. I don't have any point, but I request you all are my ambassador, and my today's message should go to all by all of you to many multifolds people other also. So I express once again my thanks for giving me opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Already 92 people have joined this course, and most of them were watching the video lectures through online, and some of them are present in the live discussion. So it is true.
Thank you for your time, Professor.
They will reach out to other people and share these video lectures to their near dear ones or people who are in their surrounding. So thanks for coming and giving talk, wonderful talk, and also to all the participants who are present here in the live discussion, and those who will see online, they will also be benefited by the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vandami, Naman Swami Samariji.
Thank you, Jai
Okay.
Samariji, I have a question for you.
Charan Vandami Mataji, Charan Vandami.
Yes, Rajmalji Jain. Rajmalji Jain is so much busy. Yeah, in spite of that, he is giving so much time to our participants.
Yes, we are very grateful. And following the last question, we're very grateful that we have sadhus and samarijis to balance life. Otherwise, where would we be now? Distracted.
True, very true.
There should be some living examples, then only people can follow. Otherwise, they will go after greed and their need.
Exactly. Greed.
Okay. Who has some question with me?
Yes, Samariji, I would like to. Is there going to be a video of the entire talk of Professor Ji today's?
Yes, all the videos are being posted on the module. Have you not seen? The last
No,
lecture
I
was
have not.
last lecture was already uploaded in last week, and because of that, participants are taking quiz.
I
Uh-huh.
think maybe you're not
And,
aware of the Google
all these,
Classroom.
on the very same day almost, or second day, the video is uploaded after editing. So just you can see next day morning that it would be uploaded.
Okay. Okay, Ji.
So
Thank
all
you.
the videos and the materials which Professor Rajmalji Jain is providing us for his special talks. So we are posting on the concerned module. So today is the third week. So you can see all the materials and the videos on that particular module of the third week. Okay. So they are being posted either in readings or video is being posted in video on video page. So you can see video lecture, then you can see readings, then you can take quiz. Okay, so all are being posted on the modules. Please see each week module.
मांगलिक फरमाएंगे सामने जी
Chittari Mangalam
मांगलिक
Arhanta
फरमाएं
Mangalam Siddha. Okay. Chittari Mangalam Arhanta Mangalam Siddha Mangalam Sahu Mangalam Kevali Pinnato Dhammo Mangalam Chittari Loguttama Arhanta Loguttama Siddha Loguttama Sahu Loguttama Kevali Pinnato Dhammo Chittari Saranam Pavajjami Arhanti Saranam Pavajjami Siddhi Saranam Pavajjami Sahu Saranam Pavajjami Kevali Pinnatam Dhammam Saranam Pavajjami. So thanks to all, and especially
Vandami Namaskami.
सामने सामने जी
Namaskami.
Adham, Adham.
Thank you.
No, no.
कृतज्ञोस्मि